to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe in the studios of our flagship stations, 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, where you can also find us in the Birmingham Bloomfield area, on Birmingham Area Municipal Access, and on City Cable 15 of Southfield. Join us live on Channel 10 in Waterford every day on the Media Network of Waterford, and live to tape on Channel 10 in Orion Township and Lake Orion on Orion Neighborhood Television, or as the cool kids call it, ON TV. You can also find us on the radio in the Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Troy areas on the Biff Radio Network, 88.1 FM, the Biff, a service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. Find us online on our Facebook pages at Civic Center TV 15 and at Lakes FM. While you're over there, go ahead and give us a like and keep up to date on everything that we're doing at Civic Center TV and Lakes FM. Find us also on our website at civiccentertv.com and on My Michigan TV or MyMy at mymitv.com. MYMI.TV.com. We can also learn more about downloading their free apps for your smartphones and smart TVs, and tune in this evening at 6 o'clock on My Michigan TV for a special presentation, as they have a conversation between Dave Lorenz from Pure Michigan and Tom Dalden from Under the Radar Michigan, which you can of course find on Detroit Public Television in the Oakland County area, as well as Michigan public television stations all across the state. They'll be talking to different tourism officials and businesses about different places, different experiences all across the state of Michigan this summer, as people get back out and start traveling in the great state of Michigan all summer long. 6 o'clock on My Michigan TV for that, as well as on mymitv.com afterward for archives and on demand, so you can watch it at your own leisure if you're not available at 6. All that information on all of our partnering stations is on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast. You'll also find a full listing of each and every episode of the Megacast and each individual interview as well, so you can watch at your pace and on your time. Then on our news page at civiccentertv.com, by clicking on our local news link at the top of the page or in the left margin if you're on your mobile phone, we have links to the most up-to-date information on COVID-19 from reliable expert resources at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and the Oakland County Health Division, so that you can stay up to date on everything you need to know about the spread of COVID-19, precautionary tactics you may or may not need to employ in your daily life, such as masking and physical distancing, as well as more information on getting vaccinated and receiving your booster shot or booster shots at the local level in your area of the state. Also on our news page at civiccentertv.com/local-news, we feature articles from many journalistic outlets all across the Great Lakes State in order to keep you updated on COVID-19 and other stories making headlines all throughout Michigan. Our top story today is from the Detroit Free Press's Frank Witzel. Gaylord's tornado damage is estimated in the millions as an insurance company warns of repair delays. The tornado that ripped through Gaylord last week Friday is expected to cost millions to repair, and insurance companies are warning some survivors will be lucky to be able to make them in the next few months. One insurer is estimating a damage payout of about $10 million to its clients. Local, state, and federal damage assessments are expected to begin on Wednesday of this week, and if they meet the criteria for federal help, the state will likely ask for it, according to the Michigan State Police officials in a statement. The governor's office will decide whether to make that request. On Tuesday, state officials told the Free Press they had no damage estimates yet to offer. The state officials added that they are trying to speed the federal aid request process by inviting the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, to help with the damage assessment, which often is done first by just local and state officials. Meanwhile, the Otsego Community Foundation, through its Tornado Response Fund, is seeking to raise $500,000 to provide immediate relief to survivors, short-term recovery assistance, and money to help the community rebuild. If you want to help, the foundation is taking donations. As of Tuesday, more than 500 people had contributed more than a total of $85,000 to that fund. In addition, the Community Financial Credit Union pledged to match every dollar donated up to $30,000 beginning on Tuesday of this week. The Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services said it is also, quote, ready to assist the residents of northern Michigan as they begin to recover from the incredible devastation wrought by Friday's tornado, hailstorm, and power outages, and close quote. The Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan, which sent a relief vehicle on Saturday, warned that the damage for services all at once, combined with existing supply chain problems, could lead to significant backups. Auto body shops, for example, are, quote, backed up 5 months because of their inability to get parts, and close quote, the insurance company said. As a result, agents are advising, quote, if your car is drivable, drive it, end closed quote. Repairs may also take some time. Quote, this is the time to shine, to knuckle in, and to help out others, said Timothy Martin, Farm Bureau Insurance's Director of Property Claims. He continued on by saying, quote, we'll get through this and we'll take care of everybody, end close quote. Farm Bureau Insurance, based in Lansing, said it expects to handle upwards of 1,200 auto and home claims from the storm and estimated that its clients would have auto and home damage in the range of $5 to $10 million in total across the board. The tornado classified as an EF3 touched down at 3:35 p.m. on Friday, according to the National Weather Service, and in just a little over 20 minutes, the 150-mile-per-hour twister cut a 17-mile swath as it downed power lines and trees, ripped off roofs, and flipped cars. It also killed 2 women in their 70s in a mobile home park and injured 44 others. Most of the property damage appeared to be downtown, although farms are also facing storm and hail damage, the insurance company said. Otsego County and Michigan have already declared local and statewide state of emergencies. The local state of emergency activates local emergency response and recovery plans. And the governor's declaration of a state of emergency for Otsego County allows state agencies to rush resources to affected areas. In the state's letter to FEMA, it said the tornado touched down at 3:38 p.m., 10 minutes after a warning was issued, and was on the ground for 26 minutes in total. Michigan tornadoes are typically on the ground just for a couple of minutes on a typical basis. The last time an EF3 tornado hit Michigan was back in 2012 in Dexter. A decade later, the southeast Michigan city still bears the scars with missing trees and rebuilt homes. Damages in the disaster were estimated at about $12 million, and no lives were lost. Farm Bureau Insurance said that in addition to agents, it sent vehicles to Gaylord loaded with water, snacks, and generators to help offer residents relief, and also has been, quote, writing checks on the spot, end closed quote. If you have insurance questions and need help with a claim, the state's insurance department said it is available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. The phone number, 877-999-6442. That's 877-999-6442. Here are some insurance claim tips for those that may be in need of making claims in this manner. The Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services offers some pieces of advice. Contact your insurance company's hotline and agent to report the claim. Protect your property to prevent further loss. Keep receipts. Document your loss. Take pictures and videos of the damage. Review your policies to understand the coverage and discuss it with your agent. And if there is water damage, tell your insurance company there may be additional causes for that damage, such as storm-related rain, sewer backup, or failing sump pump that may be covered under your policy. If there's damage to your vehicle, contact your auto insurance company. Additionally, making headlines from the team at the Detroit News, a Michigan baby formula plant is set to restart production in June, according to the company. Baby formula manufacturer Abbott announced on Tuesday its plant in Sturgis, Michigan, where a recall has helped fuel a nationwide formula shortage, is expected to reopen next month. Quote, Abbott plans to restart production at the Sturgis facility on June 4th and will prioritize EleCare production, with initial EleCare product release to consumers beginning on or about June 20th, end close quote, the company said in a statement. The relaunch announcement came a week after the U.S. Department of Justice confirmed a tentative agreement with Abbott to resolve safety issues at its facility, considered the country's largest manufacturing plant for infant formula. Abbott's recalled products included powder formula sold under the labels Similac, Elementum, and EleCare labels after 4 children became ill with bacterial infections and 2 died in the process. Several Abbott employees are accused of manufacturing the baby formula under conditions that did not meet regulatory standards for quality and safety, according to a federal court filing. Last week, the DOJ said it had filed a legal complaint against Abbott over allegations of quality and safety violations, and that the company had already agreed to a proposed consent decree to resolve the issues. In a statement on Tuesday, Abbott said the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Michigan had amended the decree allowing the company to release limited qualities of its EleCare specialty amino acid-based formulas that had been on hold since the February 17th recall. EleCare formulas are hypoallergenic and used by infants and children who have severe food allergies or gastrointestinal disorders that require amino acid-based formulas, the company said. Abbott also said it received permission from regulators to release 300,000 cans of its EleCare specialty formula. The product was not part of the recall back in February. Abbott said it expects to begin shipping its product quote, within the next several days to healthcare professionals, hospitals, and consumers as well. Abbott's February recall of products made at the Sturgis plant had exacerbated a nationwide shortage of baby formula caused by supply chain issues. That full article from our friends at the Detroit News is on our website, civiccentertv.com/local News. You click on the article or you click on the thumbnail. It'll take you to that full article. Lastly, making headlines from our friends over at Bridge, Michigan, and author Lauren Gibbons. Representatives Haley Stevens and Andy Levin traded shots over abortion and other issues at a congressional debate for the Democratic primary last night at Oakland University, courtesy of our friends at the Center for Civic Engagement at Oakland U. Two incumbent Democrats vying for a newly drawn Southeast Michigan congressional district sparred on issues from gun control and abortion to health care and campaign finance reform during a debate on Tuesday that occasionally got testy. During a wide-ranging forum at Oakland University in Rochester Hills, located on the edge of the new neighboring 10th and 11th districts, U.S. Representative Haley Stevens, a Democrat from Waterford, and Andy Levin, also a Democrat from Bloomfield Township, sought to differentiate their records as they traded barbs and as they both seek a third term in Congress. The winner of the August primary will advance to the general election in the 11th district, which stretches across much of southeastern Oakland County and leans Democratic. Hours after a deadly shooting in Texas, both candidates stressed the need to make meaningful action on gun violence, with Stevens calling on the White House to declare a national emergency. Both said they would support ending the Senate filibuster, which they said has contributed to the stalemate in Congress and getting Democratic priorities like gun control and abortion access to the president. Throughout the debate, Levin portrayed himself as more progressive, criticizing Stevens for moderate positions on health care, climate legislation, and her unwillingness to express explicit support for expanding the Supreme Court beyond its current 9 members. Levin said that he supports expanding the court and suggested other possible overhauls, including the possibility of term limits for justices so the High Court, quote, can stop stomping over our rights, end close quote. Representative Stevens said she would review any proposals put forward to, quote, reimagine functional institutions, and closed quote, that command the public's trust, but said it's important to stand firm on, quote, the real issue at hand, which is making sure that Roe versus Wade doesn't get overturned, and closed quote. During a tense exchange, Stevens bristled at Levin's characterization of their records on supporting abortion access after he suggested he had been more active in the fight. Quote, was that the sound of another 60-something-year-old white man telling me how to talk about choice, in closed quote, she asked the crowd. Quote, I think my position is clear, and closed quote. Representative Levin responded, quote, I don't think I would say a word about how my colleagues should talk about choice, and closed quote. The candidates also diverged on healthcare policy, with Levin backing a single-payer healthcare plan and Stevens supporting a public option that still allows for private insurance. Michigan is losing a seat in Congress this year as a result of a stagnant population in the 2020 census results. Both candidates opted to pass on running in the neighboring 10th district, which includes southern Macomb County. Communities that Levin now represents, including Warren, Sterling Heights, East Point, and St. Clair Shores, but extends north into Macomb County and loops into Oakland County cities of Rochester and Rochester Hills. Stevens moved within the boundaries of the new 11th district, and Levin opted not to move into a different district, setting up the incumbent versus incumbent primary. Levin and Stevens each defended their decision to run against each other, expressing their support for the independent redistricting process while stressing that they were both the best choice to represent their district. Stevens has thus far outraised Levin, reporting $1.1 million in the latest campaign finance reports as compared to Levin's $767,268. An impact research poll released Tuesday by the Stevens campaign showed she had a 7-point lead, with 38% of respondents supporting her, 31% supporting Levin, and 31% also undecided. Following the debate, Stevens said she gets the sense that voters are, quote-unquote, heartbroken that they have to choose between two sitting Democrats with track records in Congress. Levin said the circumstances are unfortunate, but noted, quote, he's quote, just running for re-election where I live and where my kids are the 5th generation of my family to live, and closed quote. All those headlines on our website, civiccentertv.com/local-news, as well as those helpful links to up-to-date and accurate information on COVID-19 from the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division. We have a great program ahead on this Wednesday edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Erika Bassett from the Birmingham Shopping District, and then at the bottom of the hour, Oakland University's Mark Rigstead will join us to provide a philosopher's perspective on some critical issues of our times and the intense political rhetoric of our modern era. That's all up next on the Oakland County Megacast.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was gonna die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom. telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. You know, being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanted to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council.
As partners working together to protect our water resources, we agree.
Pet waste is the source of harmful bacteria in the Huron River.
When it's left on the ground, it can wash into the storm drains.
These lead directly to our streams. No filters, no treatment.
Here's one thing we know that can help keep our water clean.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
So pick up pet waste and trash it.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com by clicking on the Megacast link, you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Michigan has a wealth of cities with walkable downtowns and exceptional shops for all tastes and interests. One of Oakland County's finest walkable shopping cities is the city of Birmingham. And here to give us the scoop on all the shops is Erika Bassett from the Birmingham Shopping District. Erika, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thank you. It's been a while, and I'm happy to be back on the show.
Yeah, good to have you back with us. So the last time we spoke to you, we also spoke about some things going on in the Birmingham Shopping District. That was in some of the colder months of the year. So as we slowly make our way toward the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, hopefully, but at the very least into a maybe less severe era of the COVID-19 pandemic, how are things changing in the Birmingham Shopping District? Particularly, how is traffic changing and staffing for these businesses?
Yeah, well, it's certainly nice to see people out and about again. I mean, it was such a big change from just about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we're seeing a lot of foot traffic. Our businesses have been really busy, both for shopping and dining. I guess as anywhere, there is sometimes a challenge in finding employees, but they're able to work their way through that. And it's really just been bustling, which happens, like you mentioned, with the warmer months. So people are interested in getting out and about again. And the wonderful thing about Birmingham is that everything is so walkable. So whether you're coming down to browse the shops or to dine outdoors, it's really just a great place to come and be outside and walk around. So we're seeing just that added foot traffic through these nice weather months so far.
Knowing that this time of the year is so critical to these businesses, it's their highest traffic time of the year. People love to go to Birmingham from Oakland County and from surrounding areas coming into the county to go to these shops to explore everything that Birmingham has to offer. And so during the pandemic, for safety purposes. So many cities, especially with walkable downtown areas like Birmingham, were providing that additional access to city space, sidewalks, sometimes the streets, to expand outdoors during regular business. Is that something that's going on in Birmingham again this year, something that's been discussed about possibly putting into effect in Birmingham to really give that momentum to these businesses as they're getting to a point that's been arguably the greatest potential, having the greatest potential that we've seen in years because of COVID-19?
Yeah, we're certainly, as a city and also as a shopping district, doing all we can to support our businesses. As you mentioned, many of the businesses down here are locally owned. That's both restaurants and, our retailers. So we definitely are trying to work with them and do all that we can to allow for, for them to utilize that outdoor space. Many of our restaurants already have outdoor patios, and if you've been down here at all in the last couple of weeks, you can see that those are open in full force. Some of our restaurants actually have sort of an in-out space, and then also we have a rooftop space at one of our restaurants. So people really enjoy that outdoor dining, and it's nice to see that starting to come back. As far as retail, most of the retailers are indoors, but you'll find in the warmer months, retailers love to pop their doors open and just have traffic go and then nice airflow. So it's really a wonderful time to be down here. And of course, we're doing everything we can to support these businesses as they need it.
And one of the great things about Birmingham that I really enjoyed in the times I've visited it during the pandemic, I went down there to watch a couple of games at one of the bars with a couple of friends of mine. And what was great is you had free parking available in many of the parking garages. Is that something, even on a limited time basis, that's going to continue on as we go forward, to give some of that opportunity for people to take some time and really explore all of that downtown area, or as much of it as possible, without being worried about, I have to go back and refill my meter?
Sure. And that's always something that we've tried to support our visitors with. So Birmingham downtown has 5 municipal structures. And in those structures, we always offer the first 2 hours of free parking. So you can come, drive in, pick the structure that's closest to the area that you're dining or shopping in. And then your first 2 hours is free. So if you head back before then, there's nothing that you pay. But if you decide to stay longer, which we hope that you do, it's just $2 per hour after that. So, and I believe the maximum is $10. So Birmingham, parking is very affordable. And as I mentioned, we do have those 5 structures that are really conveniently located throughout our downtown. But we also do offer metered parking throughout downtown. That's affordable as well. That does not have the free first 2 hours, but it is affordable, and it's more for short-term parking. And then, of course, on Sundays, parking is always free. So city parking at meters and in those structures is free all day. So, Sunday's a great time. We have our farmers market on Sunday. If you want to come down, stay a while, play at the park, walk around, it's a great time to explore.
And we talked about some of the restaurant institutions there that are independently owned, that are unique to Birmingham. One of those, Dick O'Dow's, a classic Irish pub, underwent some renovations recently. Can you tell people about what those renovations are and how that's added to the experience of this pub in downtown Birmingham?
Yeah, so Dick O'Dow's has been in downtown Birmingham for over 25 years. And they're really a beloved establishment for both locals and then even people coming from a little bit further away. They are a traditional Irish pub. So when you enter the front, you've got that whole kind of darker wood Irish feel, and it's really unique. But then about a few years ago on the back, they added the Dow, which is a more modern space. There's outdoor dining back there, fire pits. It's really a great atmosphere. And then most recently, they're finishing up a renovation on the front facade, and that includes a fireplace as well, some outdoor seating, and it looks really great. So that's something that if you haven't been to Dick O'Dow's recently, you'll definitely want to pop in because they've got a lot going on there. And of course, they have that food and the Irish food, and then of course the craft beer selection that people have loved for years and years. And they are locally owned as well.
Yeah, it's a really fun place to go if you're a Michigan State athletics fan to go view some of their away games during the football season. I do that pretty often with some friends down there. Always a great experience at one of Birmingham's finest institutions. Also going on in Birmingham this summer. It begins in just a couple of weeks on June 10th. The popular movie night series at Booth Park is returning. Tell our audience about what they can expect at this year's festivities and the return of the event. Any differences this year versus in the past?
No, we're actually really excited to, have these movie nights return this year. We were able to do a couple at the end of the summer last year, but we'll be able to do our full event series, which includes 4 movie nights, each in June, July, August, and September this summer. So we're looking forward to that. They are held at Booth Park outside. So again, one of the great things about Birmingham, we have such beautiful outdoor spaces, and we're able to host all of our events, or most of them, outdoors. So movie nights starting on June 10th will be featuring Sing 2, and families should plan to arrive at Booth Park around 6:30 p.m. for pre-show entertainment. And there's giveaways and sponsor tables. And then new this year, we actually have a large new LED screen that we'll be showing the movies on, and we'll be able to start them earlier. So movie times start at 7:30 p.m., which is great for families, especially with younger kids. So the movie nights, as I mentioned, will run June through September. So you'll definitely want to check our website. It's allinbirmingham.com/events to see that event calendar and all of those movie nights. So, just moving on to even July, we're featuring Home Alone, which is our Christmas in July theme. August will feature Moana. And then in September, we'll feature Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So it's a good range of movies for, all ages, very family friendly. And we really look forward to welcoming everyone to Booth Park to enjoy these movies outdoors this summer.
And so what are the times on these events? Because, of course, in the summer, it's lighter, later. So when do these movies begin being shown in Booth Park?
Yeah, so 6:30, you should plan to arrive at Booth Park at 6:30 p.m. for that pre-show entertainment. Which varies depending on, which movie we have. So you can find that information on our website. And then also, we have that LED screen this year. So we'll actually be starting the movie at 7:30 p.m.
We're joined by Erika Bassett, PR specialist with the City of Birmingham and the Birmingham Shopping District, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. More information can be found on their website, allinbirmingham.com. That's allinbirmingham.com. More information on their shops, on dining options, on certain services you can get in downtown Birmingham, what to do, places you can visit, more information for businesses, and of course, information on all their events, including their movie night series at Booth Park all throughout the summer with entertainment beginning at 6:30 p.m. allinbirmingham.com is the website, allinbirmingham.com. And so earlier this month, in May, marked the return of the Birmingham Farmers Market. Tell us about the excitement that's going to be there this summer and the variety of vendors that people can experience and can, of course, shop with at Birmingham's Farmers Market.
I do actually asked about that because we are celebrating our 20th season this year at the Birmingham Farmers Market. It's been a community tradition for so many years, and many of our vendors have actually started with us 20 years ago at the market. So it's really fun to see the relationships that they've built with the community. And then, of course, we have, new vendors that join us each year. But we have about 35 vendors each week, and they sell just so many different items, but locally grown produce. Everything is locally grown, Michigan grown. We have organic meats and eggs, artisan cheeses, baked goods, including homemade breads, cookies, really anything that you could enjoy. And then we also have vendors that offer garden plants, unique floral bouquets, and just many other wonderful pots and plants for your porches and gardens. In the late summer, one of the things that's a favorite is the fresh roasted corn. So when that becomes in season, more like August, September, that's always a favorite. We have the corn roasters there every week. And if you're not familiar with our market, it is an outdoor market. And so each week we have live music, we have a kids zone with crafts and activities for the kids. And then we also have several food trucks with both sweet and savory options. So you can grab lunch while you're there. And then new this year, on the second Sunday of each month, we have a fitness activity starting at the top of the hour. And that'll be hosted by one of our local gyms. So if you haven't been to the farmers market, or if you have been and it's been a while, I recommend, coming back this year because we really have a lot planned. And the market runs every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's May through October. And that is located in downtown Birmingham at Public Parking Lot 6, which is at 660 North Old Woodward Avenue, right across from Booth Park in downtown Birmingham. So if you want to come down, even bring the kids, they can participate in Kids Zone while you shop at the market. And then you can even head over to Booth Park or grab something at one of the restaurants for lunch. It's a great way to spend a Sunday. And that information can also be found on our website, allinbirmingham.com/farmersmarket.
Allinbirmingham.com is their website for more information on the farmers market, on other events, and all their shops and dining options in downtown Birmingham. We're joined by Erika Bassett, PR specialist with the City of Birmingham, and in particular the Birmingham Shopping District, joining us on the program. And so any other upcoming events that people should be looking forward to or looking for more information in the coming days and weeks if they're interested in exploring everything Birmingham has to offer this summer?
Yeah, so again, you can see everything on our a couple of events that I think people would really enjoy. So Day on the Town is on Saturday, July 30th, and that's the biggest sidewalk sale of the year. We typically have over 65 retailers that participate in that, and it's just a great day to come out and enjoy wonderful deals, fun entertainment. It's good for all ages, but if you love to shop, that's definitely a great event that you'll want to mark your calendar for. That runs 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And during that day, we typically have free parking in the structures, so you don't have to worry about that time limit or anything. Just come park and enjoy the day with us. And then, of course, the Woodward Dream Cruise is always a big event in this general area, and we have a Birmingham Cruise event that will be happening on August 20th alongside the Woodward Avenue Dream Cruise from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then the City of Birmingham offers the In the Park Summer Concert Series, and that is happening in Shane Park every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. starting mid-June, and that runs through August. And actually the website's a little different for that one, but that information can be found at bhamgov.org/summerconcerts. And then,
yep. Please
go ahead. I was just going to say the other two events can be found on our website, the allinbirmingham.com.
The two websites are bhamgov.com and allinbirmingham.com for more information on everything happening in Birmingham, in the shopping district, and in the city proper. All those can be found on their websites. Erika, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Again, the website, allinbirmingham.com, where you can learn more about all their events this summer, including their movie night series at Booth Park, as well as the Farmers Market, which is across the street from Booth Park in Public Lot number 6 Sundays, now through October 30th of this year. We're going to take a break, and on the other side, our politics are feisty, our decorum is nasty, and the fringes have thinned into the mainstream. How did we get here? Where is this thing going? And how can we get to a more formal and friendly status quo? Oakland University philosophy professor Mark Rigstead helps us answer those questions next on the Oakland County Megacast.
Motorcyclists are hard to see. To keep everyone safer, it's important to always look for them and know where most crashes occur. 84% of motorcycle and vehicle crashes happen on streets, not highways. And most crashes with motorcyclists occur when vehicle drivers are turning left. So before turning, especially to the left, make sure you look for motorcyclists. Then look again. It could save a life.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
72.7% of high school students get less than the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. This can cause pain, obesity, and can very negatively affect your mental health. When you have a consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day, you get sick less often, lose more weight, and have better relationships with those around you. For more information about the dangers of sleep deprivation, go to sleepfoundation.org. This message is brought to you by the WBHS Digital Media Arts Program and 89.3 Lakes FM.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org. Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. Learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. With political rhetoric continuing to become more pointed and severe, one often asks the questions of how did we get here and allow this hostility to become the mainstream? With us now to help answer that question and more is Mark Rigsted, Professor of Philosophy at Oakland University. Mark, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Appreciate having you on. So can you talk a little bit about how extreme views have become more prevalent these days? Is that a result of just more information being out there and more people having a voice, or has this been something that has been building up over time and is just coming to blows in our modern moment?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think the answer is complex because, of course, white supremacy has always been mainstream in the history of American culture. Initially when Christopher Columbus arrived in the island of Hispaniola, when he wrote back to Spain, declaring that the natives would be easy to enslave, he didn't invoke whiteness, he invoked Steele. That was sufficient. Technological superiority in arms was enough justification for the first conquistadors. But whiteness was then invented. Weaponized white supremacy was invented as a way of a better way to placate, guilty Christian conscience over the idea of merely invoking military prowess to subjugate an entire people. They had to have some sort of idea about the supremacy, the superiority of the slavers over the slaves. And so this idea of white supremacy has been with us since the 16th century. And so it is a deeply rooted part of our culture. I don't think it's new. I do think that there's a sense in which it's become more mainstream because I think that the voices of white supremacist, white nationalist politics have become elevated in the public media and as well in American politics. I think we can recall back in the 80s when if we would see white nationalists on TV, it was in some sort of, clown show on, Maury Povich or some TV show like that, where they were really being trotted out for the audience to laugh at. And I think that, of course, it was still there, but it has become elevated in American politics for a variety of reasons. I think part of the reason might be that it's not that white supremacist ideas have suddenly emerged or reemerged, but I think that they've been radicalized, and they've been radicalized in part because of the way in which public media and the algorithms that drive attention within social media have polarized American society. And also the internet creates echo chambers, little bubbles of misinformation that help to radicalize the white nationalists in our country.
So is it your belief that the timeline of white supremacy and some of these more severe political rhetorics and discourse being put into the public square, has that been more of a result of certain leaders coming into play, or the fact that those that are supporting these leaders and maybe have had these opinions and kept them more latent over time, now they have a greater platform with social media and with the controversy that it brings in the more mainstream media and the attention they can garner, especially as they support certain political candidates who hold these opinions. It's the question of, is it that this is getting louder, or just that there are more voices yelling it and having a platform for people to consume that information?
Yeah, and I do think that the rise of white supremacist violence has been a function of politicians and media platforms pandering to racial hate. Racial hate is big business. I know that a lot of advertisers have pulled out of the Tucker Carlson show because he foments theories that are then re-articulated in the manifestos of murderous white nationalists. And but at the same time, his show is incredibly popular and well-funded. And so, you have to follow the money. Who's actually paying for this? Who wants to see this kind of hatred brewing in America? There have been attempts to deplatform the platforms. When the El Paso shooter was radicalized in the pages of 8chan, that platform was itself deplatformed. But it has reemerged under a different name, which I won't mention because I don't want to drive traffic to it. And now, where is it? It's on Russian servers. So there's a geopolitical dimension to this. Our geopolitical enemies want to foment anti-Black white nationalist violence in America because they know that it will divide us and it's it can destroy us. This is a national security issue. The Department of Homeland Security has declared that white nationalist violence is the #1 terrorist threat, right? We're less worried about Al-Qaeda and ISIS at this point in American history than we are about the radicalization of people in the pages of 4chan or in the Tucker Carlson show on Fox News.
We're joined by Mark Rickson, professor of philosophy at Oakland University, joining us on the program. More information can be found on the university's website at oakland.edu. That's oakland.edu. Let's keep up to date with Mark and the entire Department of Philosophy at Oakland University. And so, as leaders come into play and also amplify these voices, either to gain their own power within their party in particular, or because they legitimately believe these things, can that really blur the line when leaders of all walks of life are pushing these extreme narratives, or does it do the opposite effect where it doesn't blur the lines? It makes the lines so much more clearer, and then people are more willing to then pick one side or the other.
Yeah, well, I do think that once you start to mobilize political will around polarizing ideas, that it tends to snowball and it gets worse and worse. So in a way, it does clarify lines of political contestation and conflict, but also hardens those lines at the same time. And that's the very dangerous part. I mean, the very idea of a distinction between white and Black people as a racial idea, which is completely fictional, is inherently polarizing. I mean, this is white. Nobody is this color. Absolutely nobody. This is Black. Absolutely nobody is that color. And so we have this schema of two polarized conceptions of race, and then we have to shoehorn people into them. Well, if you're concerned that there are fewer and fewer people, as the replacement theory is concerned about, that fit into this category, expand it as it has historically expanded. It didn't used to include Italians or Irish, and in the most recent census, it included Middle Eastern and North African people. Surely, a lot more people are closer to this color than to this color on the planet. If you're concerned with the idea that you have to populate both of those categories, first come up with a reason why. Why do we even need to retain these? I think that's a complex question because the ideas themselves have history, and we don't want to erase our history. We want to engage with it critically. And so, we came up with the idea of, the African American as a category of people. But, there is a Black community in America that doesn't want to identify that way because there is a difference between the community of descendants of the victims of the Atlantic slave trade and somebody who just moved to this country from Cameroon or Ghana. And so, when people want to self-identify with their history, it's important, I think, to sort of respect that category, but we have to do so critically without buying into the mythology of this polarizing conception of race, because all of the attempts to sort of establish a scientific basis for racism have failed. The idea of the Caucasian race, and to ask anybody to Google this, check out, find information. We live in an information-rich time. There's no such thing scientifically as the Caucasian race. So the science has really debunked the idea that there's a biological basis for race. Yes, melanin is real, but it doesn't map on very clearly to our racial categories. And especially in order to educate ourselves critically about race, we live in an information rich time. There's no reason for people to get trapped into echo chambers and epistemic bubbles of misinformation. We need to train young people to take advantage of the information that's available to them so they don't fall into these traps. I mean, I think that we should be teaching internet literacy from K through 12 so that people won't end up getting trapped inside an echo chamber that's feeding them false information. That's what's really fueling the development of this kind of hatred. Prejudice beliefs have a tendency to create a certain kind of evidence ignorance or evidence blindness. And I think that racist ideas are closer to like leaps of faith than they are to evidence-based beliefs. W.E. Du Bois articulated this when he said that whiteness is the ownership of the earth forever and ever, amen. Right? Where it sounds like it's a religious idea. That actually sounds like the lyrics to some sort of white nationalist country music song in this context. But I think it gets to the heart of the idea that it's more like a leap of faith type of belief than it is a evidence-based rational belief. And those kinds of beliefs tend to be impervious to rational argument, and that is a part of the problem that we're dealing with. Jean-Paul Sartre also talked about racism as being a kind of faith, but it's bad faith. It always involves a certain level of self-deception about the nature, not of just of others, but of your own identity as well. And so I think we struggle, the white community struggles with a problem of white ignorance. First of all, we are ignorant about, we don't have the same amount of intelligence or knowledge or understanding of Black culture as they have of ours, right? Because we don't have to learn about it in order to navigate it and survive. As James Baldwin famously said, I have to learn about white culture because so it won't kill me. And I think that white people need to overcome that ignorance that they have about the communities that don't identify as white, but we also have to become less ignorant about ourselves. Like the polling of white people indicates that white people feel very vulnerable, like they have very few opportunities, and yet the social science tells us that that's not the case. And just in 2016, there was a study that found that in Detroit, Livonia, and Dearborn, that Black applicants for mortgages were twice as likely to be denied as white applicants. And this is by companies that probably have diversity, equity, and inclusion statements as a part of their corporate culture, and yet we see in the effects, the actual consequences, the continuation of systemic racism. And the whole theory about white people being replaced and being overcome and being disadvantaged by a multicultural society is not rooted in social scientific fact. It's a complete mythology, and it's embraced as a kind of irrational faith. And that's something that's very difficult to uproot. But the way to do it, I think, is through education about how to form rational beliefs. And that has to start at a very early age. If you give 10-year-olds smartphones, you have to teach them how to find good information and how to distinguish between that which is ideologically loaded and that which is scientifically vetted.
We're joined by Mark Rigsted, professor of philosophy at Oakland University, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More on everything going on at Oakland University at oakland.edu. That's oakland.edu. And so, yeah, education plays a critical role in this. It plays a critical role in how we get ourselves out of these tumultuous political times, get this hateful rhetoric certainly out of the vernacular of our society, which is an uphill battle because, as you said, it's rooted in the history of this country, and almost every step of the history of the United States of America can be rooted back and is rooted back into discussions of race. And so as we're talking about this hateful speech becoming more prevalent, a couple of questions come up. As we talk about how do we stomp this out of our society? How do we weed this kind of rhetoric out of our society and tone down this hateful speech and get rid of it? Do we either let it out in the open so we know these people are believing, these people have these beliefs and these people are wrong, or do we try to weed those people out of society altogether and not have that speech out there and try to really help tone down the exposure to that information? What do we do in this case? Is it better to let that speech be out there and educate, or is it better to bring these people or to not bring these people out into the open, as we have previously tried to do, it seems, and bring those back to the fringes of society?
Yeah, that is a difficult question, Tyler. I think that there's some evidence to show that deplatforming can sometimes backfire and have unintended consequences, where people who are kicked off of Facebook or Twitter, then they go to 4chan and 8chan and further radicalize because they aren't exposed to a diverse ecosystem of arguments and of information. So I place somewhat greater, although limited, hope in education, because of course, part of the problem is, the undereducation and miseducation, but I do think that there are things that we can do. I've noticed when I have students, I teach political philosophy, so I get students from, run the gambit. I get the white nationalists, I get the, progressive, the anarchists, the communists, the liberals and conservatives and libertarians, the whole gamut. But what I find is that students with radical views tend to moderate their views when they engage in critical philosophical reflection, right? I had a neo-Nazi student my first semester at Oakland University, and he wanted to defend, Mein Kampf. And by the end of that, I said, okay, let me help you. I will help you by showing you all of the countervailing arguments that you're going to have to examine in order to justify your position. By the end of the semester, he wrote like a critique of Hitler, complete moderation of his views. His favorite book remained the Unabomber Manifesto, and so I continued to worry about that student, but I noticed a certain amount of moderation, and I've seen this again and again and again, that critical reasoning, education that's built around critical reasoning has a tendency to moderate political views, and I think that's where we should place our hope.
We're joined by Mark Rickstead, professor of philosophy at Oakland University, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. And so where at this time do you forecast that we're headed with this? And because of the way that we're handling hate speech as a society at this time, and maybe we are at that point where we are in the infancy of figuring it out, and that's why it seems so severe and it seems like there's no direction here. But what do you see as where we're headed on this issue? Will it want to be getting worse the longer we leave it unaddressed aggressively, or do you see this as something that could fade away depending on what sort of actions are taken in the next several years by people that aren't on these fringes of society and are trying to snuff out some of this hate speech?
So that's a hard question because it calls for a prediction. And as Yogi Berra said, it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future. When I told my aunt Barbara that I was going to go to graduate school to get a PhD in philosophy, she asked me whether I thought that it would help me to know the future. And at that time I said, I seriously doubt it. And to this day, I retain the same view. The future never continues to surprise. So I don't know where we're headed, but I do know what people can do to try to steer the course of history in a better direction, in away from hate and towards unity. We do have to embrace the idea that there really is strength in diversity. There's all kinds of social science on this, that when groups of people have to make collective decisions, their deliberations are actually better. They have better value. They achieve better outcomes when the participants are themselves diverse. That's a social scientific view that is, of course, rejected by Tucker Carlson and by the Buffalo shooter because they're miseducated. They are embracing mythological ideas and not basing their views in science. And so we do need to, I think, combat anti-science at the same time that we combat those views that embrace it. And I think we have to deal with the problem. This is a white people problem. So we have to deal with this as a white community. There are people who feel like multiculturalism is an assault on white people, that they're somehow burdened with the idea of white guilt. They see the idea of white pride as something that's impossible. Well, I think it is possible for people to feel proud about their white or European heritage. The supposed intellectual superiority of white people has to be been connected with the idea of, a prominent role of Europeans in the history of science. Of course, there are prominent roles of other cultures as well. But so let's go ahead and take pride in that. And if you're going to do so, don't do it on the basis of a bunch of anti-science malarkey, propping up your white supremacist racism. Be proud about the fact that the civil rights movement, which overcame many of the injustices of slavery and Jim Crow, involved white agency, right? That if we're going to feel good about ourselves, let's feel good about ourselves because of our moral accomplishments, rather than our ability historically to succeed at conquest and domination.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us and being on the program today. I appreciate your insight and appreciate your advice on where we can go and in trying to solve some of these issues. We got a long way to go. It's going to be a tough way ahead, but we can do this as a society. We've got to work together. We've got to figure it out as a collective. We're going to take a break on the Megacast. When we come back, we'll kick off the Michigan Megacast with Mary Lynn Foster from the American Red Cross of Michigan. That's coming up next on the Megacast.
I couldn't breathe at all. There was lots of talk about putting me on a ventilator. I thought I was going to die. I was 39 weeks pregnant and had a scheduled C-section. During that time, I got COVID and was hospitalized for a month. I had a blood clot in my lungs. It caused me to go into right-sided heart failure. I was really scared. I kept texting my husband and my mom, telling them how scared I was, and I was worried that he was gonna grow up without a mom. And then I was worried if, when I did get home, that he wouldn't know who I was. Being 27 and a mom and a wife and having that all almost taken away from me. It's scary, and if a vaccine can prevent that from happening, why not? Get your vaccine. I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
A message from the staff of Michigan's Crime Victim Compensation Program.
Anyone can be a victim of crime
and suffer lasting trauma, physically, emotionally, and financially.
But you are not alone.
If you're struggling financially due to a crime,
we're here
for you.
Find out if you qualify for crime victim compensation.
Call 877-251-7373 or visit michigan.gov/crime-victim.
A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Victim Services.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
Whether you're the city,
the county,
or the Huron River Watershed Council.
As partners, working together to protect our water resources, we agree.
Pet waste is the source of harmful bacteria in the Huron River.
When it's left on the ground, it can wash into the storm drains.
These lead directly to our streams. No filters, no treatment.
Here's one thing we know that can help keep our water clean.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
Pick up pet waste and trash it.
So pick up pet waste and trash it.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keith. To learn more about the program, including our radio homes for the Michigan Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Kegel Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on a Megacast link, where you'll find information from our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. May is Sound the Alarm Month, making it time to check in on your home safety appliances such as smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms, and review and revise your safe escape plans. It's also a great time to think about saving other people's lives by donating your blood. Joining us now is the CEO of the Michigan region of the American Red Cross, Mary Lynn Foster. Mary Lynn, thank you very much for being with us today.
My pleasure, Tyler. Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good to have you back on the program. So can you first start off by discussing May being Sound the Alarm Month. Tell us about the efforts that the Red Cross is putting in to spread this message of sound the alarm, and what specifically they really want those out in the public to know during this month.
Well, May is Sound the Alarm for the American Red Cross across the country, and it's one of the most favorite things that we do for me at the Red Cross, and that's installing free smoke alarms, because what a lot of people probably don't realize is that if you experience a home fire, you have less than 2 minutes, less than 120 seconds to escape safely, and having those working smoke alarms in your home is critical to that. And we also know that having working smoke alarms cuts the fatality rate in half. So having smoke alarms, first of all, and having working smoke alarms is so important. And that's what Sound the Alarm Month is all about.
And what about carbon monoxide alarms too? Because we know that appliances can break down, fumes can get loose in the home. There are other ways that carbon monoxide can pollute the home as well, and that can become quickly dangerous, and there's not really any way to detect it other than having one of those carbon monoxide detectors and alarms.
That is correct. Now, the alarms that we install are only the smoke alarms, but it is critically important also to have the carbon monoxide alarms also in your home. We install the smoke alarms, in the ceiling, and the carbon monoxide alarms really should be lowered to the ground.
So at this time, Mary Lynn, are the Red Cross able to then go back to what they were doing previously, being able to go into homes with smoke detectors and either check on them or replace smoke detectors for people that would like the Red Cross to do so? Or is it still, given the COVID-19 situation, a hands-off experience where it's an encouragement campaign at this time to get people to change their smoke detectors before the severe weather season?
No, actually, Tyler, we are back in homes, which we're thrilled about doing. In fact, just this past weekend, we were out in Southeast Michigan. We installed almost 100 alarms this past weekend. Our goal during the month of May for the entire state of Michigan is to install over 1,700 smoke alarms. And for Southeast Michigan specifically, that goal is almost 1,000. So it's the real simple. It's this type of alarm right here is what we install. And what is really super nice about these alarms is it has the lithium battery in it already. So you don't have to worry about changing that battery. You still want to test it every month to make sure it's operational. And this alarm is good for 10 years.
We're joined by Mary Lynn Foster, the CEO of the Michigan region of the American Red Cross, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information on their website, redcrossblood.org. And so we know the Red Cross is known for their blood drives. We see them all throughout our communities, all throughout the state, all throughout the country, all year round. But the smoke detector program, in addition to that, is just one of many additional programs provided by the American Red Cross, in addition to, of course, those blood drives.
Absolutely, Tyler. And certainly May is Sound the Alarm, and we encourage anyone. They're free smoke alarms. There's no pre-qualifications. If you're interested in having us come out, we'll make an appointment. But also, we encourage blood donation appointments as well, because there's always a critical need for blood drives. So thank you for raising that awareness also. A lot of folks don't realize that the American Red Cross supplies 40% of the nation's blood supply. So we have drives every single day. And it's critical that we have donors who are willing to roll up their sleeve and help us save a life. With a simple blood donation, you can save up to 3 lives.
And it's a really simple process, too. I've donated my blood several times before, and can you just touch on that, just how simple of a process it really is for people, and a really relatively painless process, too, to donate your blood, and just how helpful it can be to so many other people from your one blood donation.
Well, first of all, Tyler, thank you for donating blood. We certainly appreciate it. And it is really a pretty simple process from beginning to end. First of all, finding a location that's convenient to you. You can go to our website, redcross.org, and type in your zip code, and it will return all of the blood drives that are close to home for you, or the ones that are most convenient for you. And you can schedule an appointment online, or you can download the drive or the application on your phone and find a drive that way. Then once you arrive at the blood donation center, they'll check you in, they'll do a quick medical history health check, get you hooked up. It's a needle prick in your arm, and then before you know it, the blood's collected and you're off and enjoying some juice and a cookie and knowing that you have just saved a life for someone.
We're joined by Mary Lynn Foster, the CEO of the Michigan region of the American Red Cross, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information is on their website, redcross.org. And Mary Lynn, I do want to just circle back to the smoke detector program. If somebody would like to sign up to have a smoke detector provided by the Red Cross and installed by the Red Cross, how do they go about doing that for their local area?
So really simple, 2 ways. Visit our website, redcross.org/fire, and you can find more information there. You can also call us directly, and the phone number is area code 313-494-3432. So again, that's 313-494-3432. We'll be happy to make an appointment, and we do this all year, Tyler, just so everyone knows, but May is a huge focus month for us. So, we'll be happy to come out anytime during the year. We're back in person, installing alarms, and we're happy to help everyone.
Mary Lynn Foster joins us on the Michigan Megacast. She is the CEO of the Michigan region of the American Red Cross. More information, redcross.org to sign up for their smoke detector program. That's redcross.org/fire to learn more, or call 313-494-3432. That's 313-494-3432 for more information and to sign up if you are in need of a new smoke detector or an updated smoke detector in your home. And so, Mary Lynn, in addition to the blood drives, to the smoke detector program and other programs, there's also additional training opportunities as well. And that includes first aid training, which as people are getting back out into the community in heavier regularity, in comparison to during the pandemic, that creates more opportunities for people to have life-changing medical events in the public, and the need for more people in the public to then be able to react to that until first responders are able to get on the scene. And so it makes it all more important to have this first aid training, the CPR and AED training as well. Can you talk about how the Red Cross provides that training, what sort of process goes into that, so that people that may want to get certified in CPR training and first aid training can go about doing so?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tyler. It is. We're getting into that season. We're back out. Whether it's first aid training, CPR training, babysitting courses, training for at pools. This time of the year we do provide that. And again, the best way to enlist in a class to find what is close to you is to visit our website, because they're constantly changing. We're constantly adding. And just find something that is closest to you. The easiest, simplest way is to visit our website and to be trained. You never know when a family member may need your assistance, or you may be out in a restaurant now that we're getting back out in the public, and someone may go into a rest near you at a table nearby, and just having that training to be able to sustain a life while the emergency medics, are on their way is invaluable training. And, we just can't encourage everyone enough to enlist in a course.
We're joined by Mary Lynn Foster, the CEO of the Michigan region of the American Red Cross, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information is on their website, redcross.org. That's redcross.org for more information. And in addition to training opportunities and the need for more people in the community to be trained in life-saving practices such as CPR, AED, and first aid training, there's also a great need for the Red Cross to just have volunteers across the board, a number of different opportunities. Tell us a little bit about the opportunities for volunteerism with the American Red Cross here in Michigan that are available.
Our mission is to prevent and alleviate human suffering, and that is really done through the arms and hearts of our volunteers. And so we always are recruiting for and looking for new volunteers. We provide training so that you are, whatever you're interested in doing, we always like to have that right match for what you would like to do, and whether it's responding to a disaster, either here in Michigan or long distance out to a wildfire or to a hurricane in the south, we will provide that training for you. Perhaps you want to volunteer locally at a blood drive, we'll provide that training for you. But there are a lot of opportunities to put your time to use, and we only are able to do that. 90% of our workforce is volunteers, and so we are constantly looking for volunteers to help us in our mission, and we would encourage anyone who's interested and can raise their hand to do so. We would certainly appreciate.
Mary Lynn, recently you helped to honor a lifelong volunteer, a lifelong Detroiter, Doris Adler, who is 100 years old and worked for decades for the American Red Cross. Can you talk a little bit about Doris and her service to the community, not just with the Red Cross, but the entire Detroit area?
Oh my gosh, we had the honor of meeting Doris. What a dynamo, 100 years young. She shared with us a scrapbook of her years volunteering during World War II and beyond. Just so many rich moments in history and knowledge. I mean, unbelievable. Turned 100 years old back in September, and she is going strong. And she shared so many wonderful stories of not only her community service, of when she was serving in Japan and then also in Germany for the American Red Cross, just being that warm, welcoming person, welcoming the servicemen into a Red Cross club. So they had someone to, just wrap their arms around and have a donut and a cup of coffee, play a game, and just know that it was a familiar face. And that's really what these ladies of the Red Cross did. And they're invaluable, such a dynamo group. And Doris just was amazing to share at 100 years young. She's sharp as a tack and just an amazing woman right here in Southeast Michigan.
And so what sort of training or what sort of requirements are in place for those that may want to take in inspiration from Doris Adler and become a volunteer with the Red Cross?
Well, I really just recommend reaching out to us. We have screeners that will have deep conversations with anyone who's interested in volunteering to really understand what it is you'd like to do. And that's so important that we understand your interests so that we can really do the right match for whatever your interests are. And then from there, it's obtaining the training and getting you ready to go so that when that moment comes, you're ready and you're trained and we send you on your way and you're deployed and you're confident knowing that you're helping someone on their worst day.
We're joined by Mary Lynn Foster, the CEO of the Michigan region of the American Red Cross. More information is on the website, redcross.org. And we've spoken also about May being Sound the Alarm Month. They're really focusing on encouraging people to replace their old smoke detectors or check their more up-to-date smoke detectors to make sure that they are functioning properly. If you're in need of a smoke detector, of a check, or to install a new one, you can get in contact with the American Red Cross for them to do this for you at redcross.org/fire. That's redcross.org/fire, or you can call 313-494-3432. That's 313-494-3432 for more information. Mary Lynn, before we let you go, for those interested in donating or volunteering, taking a class, what's the best way for them to get in contact with the Michigan region of the American Red Cross so that they can help out in their local area or across the state?
Again, Tyler, it's through our website. We have everything posted there. We really try and make it super simple for everyone. There's just there's menus for you to drop down menus for everyone to find something of interest. A lot of information about activities. We really try and keep our website current so that everyone knows what we're doing. So we have multiple locations throughout the state, and here in Southeast Michigan, we're in Detroit, and I would love to hear from everyone.
And then Marilyn, just before we do let you go, of course, we want to always encourage people, if they're able to do so, to donate blood, and especially at the times that we're in, still in the middle of a pandemic with severe weather season underway, it becomes even more important to get those resources in place so that when there is a disaster, when there is some sort of a tragedy, there can be quick reaction and a lot of lives can be saved. So just at this time, what is the status of the blood supply here in Michigan and across the U.S., and with that, wherever it is, just how important does that then make blood donation now more than ever before?
Well, Tyler, you make an excellent point. We're getting into disaster season, and when these happen, a lot of drives across the country, and right here in Michigan, are canceled because of storms, and then all of a sudden we have a critical need. We always have a need for blood. The shelf life of a pint of blood is not very long, and so we like to collect blood. We use it right away. But there's that constant need. And with us supplying 40% of the nation's blood drive, we want to make sure that every patient has the blood that they need. I think we all have known someone, a family member, a friend who has perhaps experienced cancer or an accident or some type of emergency situation where blood has been needed. And the American Red Cross has been there supplying the blood. And really appreciate highlighting this because we always have a constant need for blood. And if anyone's interested, the fixed site locations that we have are on our website. And then, of course, you can visit a mobile site as well. And we really appreciate everyone rolling up their sleeve and saving a life with a blood donation.
Mary Lynn, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Of course, more information always available on redcrossblood.org for blood donation. And to learn more about Sound the Alarm Month as May continues on, and even though May is almost over, that the need to check on your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide alarms is always constant, especially in the warmer months of the year here in Michigan. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to the Director of Development at the Hannan Center in Detroit. Tara Franey joins us next on the Michigan Megacast.
Who is struggling right now?
I am.
My son is. Many are struggling with anxiety, depression, and substance use. Before it becomes a crisis, reach out to MyCal, the Michigan Crisis and Access Line for free confidential support 24/7. Available in the Upper Peninsula and Oakland County. Just call or text 1-844-44-MyCal or chat online at michigan.gov/MyCal. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. Learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link. You'll also find more information on our partnering stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now is the Director of Development at the Hannan Center, located in Midtown Detroit. Tara Franey joins us now on the Michigan Megacast. Tara, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, tell us about the Hannan Center and the services that it provides out of Midtown.
Yes, so as you said, we're located on Woodward, just south of Warren. We've actually been serving older adults for 97 years. We were established in 1925. So we're really proud of that, coming up on our almost 100th anniversary. We offer social work services, including help navigating Medicare, Medicaid, housing, mental health counseling, anything an older adult, which we consider 60 and older, needs to remain independent and, just making sure their quality of life is the best it can be. In addition to those social work services, which are free, we also have lifelong learning classes. So We work on a trimester basis, so things change every few months. And we offer everything from theater and singing classes and fine arts to Tai Chi, meditation, special workshops, history workshops. We recently just did a 3-part series on the Harlem Renaissance. So just, offering just a lot of different things to keep older adults engaged and really trying to combat ageism. There's so many, unfortunately, people out there that believe life ends at a certain age, and at Hannan Center, we are trying to say no, that is absolutely not true. Lots of life still left.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned was engagement of these individuals, of these elderly and senior citizen populations, because engagement, especially socially at that age in their life, is so important to their long-term vitality. And I would think that, especially during the pandemic, that becomes so much more difficult to obtain and to maintain also, especially considering the technological gaps that are often there in our elderly population. So how important was the Hannan Center's efforts during the pandemic in maintaining that quality of life for those that it serves out of Detroit?
Yeah, Tyler, such a good point. Obviously, the pandemic impacted all of us, right? I mean, everyone felt isolated, but I think even more so for older adults who unfortunately experienced a lot of loss of their peers and family members. And we were so happy to see how quickly we were able to pivot our services. So we did move as much as we could to Zoom, to online platforms, and surprisingly, a lot of people adapted. There was, a little bit of a barrier, but we were surprised how quickly most seniors were able to switch and now love it. We've done surveys and they're like, we love Zoom, we want to stay, and have really built a new community that way. We also started a telephone reassurance program that came out of the pandemic. And that idea is any older adult who is feeling isolated, just wants to hear a friendly voice, they can choose how many times a week they want to hear from us, up to 3. And so it's really just a way for them to chat with somebody. And then, of course, during those calls, we're able to link them to services that they may not know are out there that can help them. We did a lot of delivery in partnership with some other partners of food, gift cards for food, helping seniors navigate how to have deliveries made, through DoorDash and through the grocery stores delivering food that way. So we all had a huge learning curve. But really one thing that came out of the pandemic was learning that seniors can use technology, and that sort of is a myth. Anybody with a little training can figure it out. So that's what we found.
Yeah, and it's so important to just give them that avenue in order to continue that communication, especially considering that COVID-19 in particular puts that people at that age, regardless of their health status, they could be the most healthy person that could have underlying illnesses at that particular age. It becomes so much more of a risk factor that providing these opportunities and that training is so important. And so as we continue to talk about learning opportunities, let's talk about Beyond You and some of those more specific lifelong learning opportunities that are currently being offered or have been offered in the past, and how people can access these programs.
Yes, so Beyond You is amazing. That's our lifelong learning program. Most of those classes, they're very, very minimal cost. Some are free. We just actually completed a drop-in series that was happening on Saturday in partnership with College for Creative Studies. That was with a painting instructor. And it's just amazing. You don't have to have any experience. You can come on down. And for 3 weeks, people were able to paint, meet new friends, learn something new. So our next trimester will start in the fall. And like I said, we offer so many different classes. We have the whole wellness suite, so yoga and advanced fitness, Drums Alive. All of these things, almost all of them can be done through Zoom now. So you don't even need to leave your home. So if you're anywhere in Metro Detroit or really anywhere, these are open to you. The best way to find out our course catalog is on our website at hannan.org. And you can always find it there. Most things, most classes, some are offered every trimester, and then some of the special workshops change. But we are really, really lucky to partner with Wayne State University. Lots of great partners who bring just wonderful educational opportunities to our seniors. So anyone listening, we have a lot to offer, and we would love to meet you either in person or through Zoom.
We're joined by Tara Franey, Director of Development at the Hannan Center in Detroit, joining us on the Megacast. So as you mentioned, this is open to anybody, not just those that are in the city proper or in Wayne County. This is open to anybody. Are these programs free? Is there a charge for the programs?
All of the social work programs are free that help people, navigate the resources they need to remain in their homes or independent. There's a small charge for some Beyond You classes, but a lot are offered free as well. So there's a mix there, but very, very affordable. And we do offer some scholarships. So anybody who really has a great need, wants to join us, there's a way for you to join us if money is a barrier. So you can definitely just check out the catalog, see what you're interested in, and reach out to us. We can help you get registered.
More information can be found on hannan.org, HANNAN.org, HANNAN.org for more information, or you can call them 313-833-1300. That's 313-833-1300 for more information on Beyond You and other programs. And how you can get involved with the Hannan Center, located in Midtown Detroit. We're joined by their Director of Development, Tara Franey, on the Megacast. And so tell us a little bit also about, you have an exciting event coming up, the 70 over 70 Next Chapter Awards. So tell us about this award ceremony, who it's going to be recognizing, and if people would like to nominate someone to be recognized or participate in the event, how can they go about doing so?
Yes, thank you. A few years ago, we launched 70 over 70. And as I mentioned, part of our mission is to really combat ageism. We love the 40 under 40 and the 20, those awards, but we really felt like older adults were being left out. And so we kicked off 70 over 70 back in 2017. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we had to put it on hold for a year there, but we're back. And the idea is, pretty simple. It's honoring those older adults, people over 70 who have made significant impact and still are making impact. We offer awards in 7 different categories: lifetime achievement, art, change maker, civic and community leadership, entrepreneurship, lifelong learning, and unsung hero. And we have a brunch program that is going to happen October 1st of this year, Saturday, October 1st at the Dearborn Inn. And all awardees receive a complimentary ticket for themselves and a guest. And so it's just a great brunch program, again, of honoring older adults. The theme or the tagline is impact is ageless. And we really believe that. Over the years, I've had the privilege of reading through so many of the nominations, and Tyler, really, it's just amazing what people are still doing and still making happen for our community. And this is just some small way for us to recognize them.
We're joined by Tara Franey. She is the Director of Development at the Hannan Center, located in Midtown Detroit. More information can be found on hannan.org, HANNAN.org. That's HANNAN.org, or by calling their phone number at 313-833-1300. That's 313-833-1300 for more information on the Hannan Center. And so for these awards, what sort of criteria are you looking for, and how do people go about, if they'd like to submit someone either this year or in years in the future, go about making those submissions and nominating someone to be recognized as one of these 70 over 70?
You can go to our website, and we have an actually separate website for this event, which is 70over70.com, but you can just go to Hannan and find that link. And really, I mentioned the 7 different categories. The nomination form is pretty simple. We're just asking you to highlight why, what your nominee is contributing or has contributed to the community or to their sector. And it's pretty simple. You just sort of highlight why you feel like they should be nominated and complete the online form. If people don't want to do it online, no problem. On the website, there is my email address, and I can send you a hard copy of the nomination form. So we make it as easy as possible, and anybody that needs assistance completing the application can definitely give me a call, and I would be happy to help walk them through it.
We're joined by Tara Franey, the Director of Development at the Hannan Center in Detroit, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Again, more information on hannan.org, HANNAN.org for more information. And for those that may not be able to participate in events at this time or are still concerned, still have a higher level of concern about COVID-19, there is a virtual pandemic check-in group. Is that continuing on as this pandemic continues?
Yes, yeah, it is, Tyler. Such a great point. Yeah, we've got our mental health counseling, which is free to any older adult who is feeling anxious or isolated or depressed. And we also started this pandemic check-in group. We found that a lot of people weren't maybe had some apprehension about one-on-one counseling. And so we started the group, and we feel like that's been a little bit more comfortable for people to talk about, their challenges, but also, good things that are happening in their life. Just again, another way for community. And that does happen once a month. It is on Zoom. Or if people do not, aren't comfortable on Zoom, there's a telephone line they can call in to be patched into the group. But one of our social worker leads that group every month. And information, again, is on the website, or anybody is welcome to call us, and we will get you connected into that pandemic support group.
Tara, before we let you go, anything else that we haven't discussed today that would be important for our audience to know about your organization, or other things we should be keeping an eye out for in the near future?
Yeah, I've got two quick things. So nominations for 70 over 70, those close June 28th. So you've got a few weeks, and again, really encourage you to visit our website and to think of those people who are over 70 who should be recognized. And the second thing is, we actually have our own art gallery, the K-Rod Gallery at Hannan, and it highlights artists over 60 primarily. And we're really lucky. The Michigan Watercolor Society is hosting their 75th annual exhibition at K-Rod. That is opening on June 4th. And we'd love to have you come down and visit us. The opening reception will be June 4th from 1 to 5. Got some light refreshments. You can see what the jurors selected as their picks for that show, but it's going to be a beautiful show. We have those exhibits rotate about every 6 weeks. So just another way that we're highlighting older adults and also showing how art can help increase quality of life.
Tara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. More information can be found on hannan.org, HANNAN.org, or call them at 313-833-1300. That's 313-833-1300 for more information on the Hannan Center located in Midtown Detroit. We're going to take a break on the Michigan Megacast. On the other side, we will wrap up the program with some individuals from the Paint Creek Trails Commission with some exciting events and more information on the great history of the Paint Creek Trail. That's coming up next on the Michigan Megacast.
Parents do a lot of worrying. Get your kids caught up on childhood vaccines to protect them from these 14 preventable diseases, and you'll have 14 fewer things to worry about. Vaccines are safe and effective and save lives. So let's get caught up on vaccines and worry about something else. Get the facts at ivaccinate.org.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Most of the pollution that goes into our rivers is carried by rainwater that flows off of roads, parking lots, and rooftops.
The leaves and bark of a single tree can retain a surprising amount of rainwater. Depending on its size and species, it could be 100 gallons or more.
It is estimated that an urban forest can reduce annual runoff by up to 7%.
Here's one thing that we know can help keep our water clean.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior. These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance. They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different. One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games? Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate. So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Today, it is easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll at fcc.gov/ACP or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org. Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast. You'll also find more information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV, otherwise known as My. Joining us now from the Paint Creek Trailways Commission is the manager of the Paint Creek Trail, Melissa Ford, and the chairperson of the commission, Donnie Steele, with us both on the Michigan Megacast. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Appreciate having you both on. So, Donnie, let's start with you as the chairperson of the commission. For those in the audience who aren't familiar with the Paint Creek Trail, can you tell us exactly where the trail is located and which communities it connects?
Well, we have a great trail, and it starts in the village of Lake Orion, and it goes all the way to the city of Rochester. And along the way, it goes through the township of Orion, the township of Oakland Township, Rochester, the city of Rochester Hills, and then the city of Rochester. So it's an interlocal community trailways that we all collectively add to the management of the trail.
It's also a great spearhead of a collective local history. Melissa, can you tell us about the history of this trail that dates back all the way to the 1800s?
Sure. So the trail previously was a railroad line, so it would have connected
Detroit up to Orion and beyond. I believe the railroad actually went all the way to Bay City. So we have an 8.9 mile section of it, and that was converted from the railway to a public trail in the early 1980s. And it's really a jewel of our community. We are the first non-motorized rail to trail in the state of Michigan. So we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary next year. So we're really proud of this jewel that we have here in northern Oakland County.
And we've seen so many of these trails following the footsteps of the Paint Creek Trailway in being one of those trailways and having so many different events and so many different amenities for people to enjoy the community and enjoy nature simultaneously. What are some of the activities that local residents and families and visitors as well in these variety of cities can experience on the Paint Creek Trailway?
Well, we're a year-round trail, so we have users that are in all weather out there. So we have, of course, our typical runners, walkers, cyclists, but we have horseback riders that are allowed in the northern section of the trail, cross-country skiers in the winter. And we do host events. We have a great event coming up on June 4th here in downtown Lake Orion, which is going to have a run, walk, and cycle on the trail, as well as an expo in downtown Lake Orion that we're hoping that people will come out and enjoy for National Trails Day.
And then can you tell us about the Moultrie Garden? It's a pollinator garden, and it has an interesting history too, named after a certain individual in the cities.
Sure. That is located in Rochester Hills, just north of Tinkin Road. And that was a special project that was done by our Friends of the Paint Creek Trail organization. And that is dedicated to a former bike patroller, Mr. Moultrie, who was really a trail ambassador, and he passed away, and funds were gathered to do a memorial for him. And he was really a big environmentalist, an educator. So the thought was this would be a really lasting tribute to him and something that he would appreciate. So we invite people to come out and check that out as well. Some beautiful native Michigan plants are planted in the garden, and it's just starting to bloom. So it's a great time to check that out right now.
Yeah, great time of the year to go check out that garden. So many others like it in the state, and this time of the year is great for those nature enthusiasts who love a good garden to go and explore that, especially with the history on this trail and the history of that garden as well. We're joined by Melissa Ford and Donnie Steele from the Paint Creek Trailways Commission, joining us on the Megacast. Donnie, let's go back to you. So Melissa had teased an event that's coming up on June 4th on the trail. It's going to be the Tour of the Trail on Paint Creek Trail. Can you tell us about the event and how people can participate?
Well, thanks for asking, and thanks for having us to be able to blast it out there to we're looking for anywhere from sponsors and volunteers and of course participants. And it's actually being run by the Friends of the Paint Creek Trail. And we have our chairperson, Lewis, but he wasn't able to attend this meeting today, but he's spearheading the whole expo / event. And what we're going to do is in the downtown Lake Orion, in the Children's Park, we'll be having tents, and we'll have a lot of exhibitors, and they'll be anywhere from helmet fitting to bike rodeos to donuts and coffee and possible beverage after you're done with the actual cycle or the actual ride. And the ride is open to walkers, bikers, and families, and it's not a timed event, so people can go at their leisure, and they can go and do the whole trail at 8.9 miles, or they could do a short segment of it, or they can choose not to do it at all and just come to the expo, because not only will we have the exhibits and beverages, but we will also have food trucks as well too, and we'll have that in the park area by the fire station, and cookies and cream.
More information can be found on paintcreektrail.org. That's paintcreektrail.org for more information on the Tour de Trail, which is coming up on June 4th. That's Saturday, June 4th, on the Paint Creek Trail. Again, more information can be found on their website at paintcreektrail.org. That's paintcreektrail.org, and you can also find them on their social media as well by visiting their website at paintcreektrail.org. And again, that event is on June 4th. We're joined by Melissa Ford, the Paint Creek Trail Manager, as well as Donnie Steele, Chairperson of the Paint Creek Trail Commission, the Trailways Commission, joining us on the Megacast. But there's also plenty of other events also coming up this summer and into the fall on the Paint Creek Trail, some that are annual events. Donnie, can you tell us more about some of the other traditions on the Paint Creek Trailway?
Well, I guess she wants me to take this one. So we also have our Labor Day Bridge Walk that happens on Labor Day in September, and that happens in downtown Rochester. So we meet at Municipal Park in Rochester, and it's a run and a walk, and people come out for that. And we, of course, always have donuts. That's a big hit. So that started as a way for people who might not be able to go up to Mackinac to participate in the bridge walk up there, to do it locally. And so we have our own mini version where you're able to cross some of the 12 bridges that we have on the trail and get a little of that taste of up north here on the Paint Creek Trail.
And what's nice about that is that we try to do something in the village of Orient on one end of the trail, and on our southern trailhead in the city of Rochester Hills on the other end. So we have one in the spring in the north end and one in the fall on the south end.
You get a little bit of participation for everyone across the board in the many communities that are a part of the Paint Creek Trailways Commission, which joins us right now on the Megacast. More information on their website, paintcreektrail.org, and that event can also be found on their website. For more information on their Labor Day Bridge Walk and Run and the Tour de Trail coming up on Saturday, June 4th at Children's Park in Lake Orion. That's where it begins, and the event 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Melissa, Donnie, before we let you go, any other information about the Paint Creek Trail that we haven't discussed today, or other exciting things coming up that we should be keeping an eye out for?
Well, we have a great new trailhead that's going to be opening sometime this summer up in Oakland Township, and that's being spearheaded by Oakland Township. But that will add some new restrooms to the trail, which I know is always something that our users are looking for, as well as another water source, more parking. We're going to even have horse trailer parking up there. So we're really looking forward to that, and we're adding some other new amenities, more like fix-it stations that'll be at that new trailhead. So lots of exciting things going on in the trail this year.
Melissa, Donnie, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. More information can be found on their website, paintcreektrail.org. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's program and give you more information on where you can find the Megacast online and on demand, as well as more information on all of our partnering stations and local news as well across the state of Michigan. That's coming up next on the Megacast.
If you are struggling to afford internet service for your household, there is a new government program that may be able to help. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, and it provides up to a $30 monthly discount to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/ACP, or call toll-free at 877-384-2575. That's 877-384-2575.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission has more information. Visit gwbcable.org.
Can I ask you a question? Why did you get your kids vaccinated?
It was hard for them to social distance, to be isolated from their friends.
I want them to get back to school and sports games. So as a pediatrician, I recommend the vaccine to everyone I know.
The boys lost a former teammate and classmate who was only 20 years old. It's been a devastating year.
We want to get back to normalcy. Our daughter is really looking forward to being with her friends, being a kid.
It's the Great Lakes water. And so what people do ends up in our waterways.
Flushable wipes are just evil. They should be thrown away. They're impossible to destroy, and they can cause significant problems.
One of the main things when you're cooking is to not dump fats, oils, and greases down your drains.
They stick to the sides of pipes. They stick to everything they come in contact with. Don't put it down the sink.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
We may come from different organizations,
but we work together to protect the Huron River for everyone.
Neighborhood storm drains carry water directly to local creeks and streams. No filters, no treatment.
Storm drains also help reduce street flooding when it rains.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
It is easy to do your part by adopting a storm drain.
Find a storm drain, check it, and clear it every month.
So keep storm drains for rain only.
There's one water, and it's ours to protect.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe. To learn more about the program on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you can also find all of our programs on demand and find each individual interview also. So you can watch the Megacast at your own pace. View us for the full 2 hours on your time. You can split it into different sections and watch it at different times of your day. Join us for a full 2 hours when you have that time. Or if you're only interested in certain topics and certain subject matter, you can also search through our recent interviews and all of our interviews dating back to March of 2020 and explore things from across the Oakland County area and across the state of Michigan from both the Oakland County and Michigan Megacasts. In addition, on our Megacast page, you can learn more information about all of our partnering stations, including My Michigan TV, by clicking on any of those links. Learn more about the programming that they produce throughout the other 22 hours of the day, Monday through Friday, that they're not with us on the Megacast. And today, some special programming coming up from My Michigan TV at 6 o'clock. Dave Lorenz from Pure Michigan, as well as Tom Dalden from Under the Radar Michigan, will be live on My, talking about all things Michigan tourism this summer. They'll be joined by those that are higher ups in the tourism industry in the state of Michigan, those that are owning businesses that benefit from tourism across the state, and exploring some interesting places right here in Michigan that you can visit this summer. That's 6 o'clock on My. Also encourage you to go to our local news page at civiccentertv.com/local-news for up-to-date information on COVID-19 from the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division, as well as updated stories from across the Great Lakes state making headlines on the COVID front and beyond every single day. Big thank you to our crew that makes this program possible 5 days a week for 2 hours a pop. Calvin Brown, our technical director, with me in the studio for the full 2-hour marathon. Our Zoom producer today at the office of My Michigan TV is Ken Cooper. And of course, the king of television, Larry Nyland, our producer, booking the entirety of the show and helping both the guests and us get ready for informative conversations on a number of topics. On My, Steve Lato Live is next, followed by Larry and Ronnie Live. We'll return on Thursday with a new edition of the Megacast.